What is going on, Herd? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to another video. I released that first video and I just kind of figured, people aren't really going to like that. I just didn't explain anything, but it's a whole video in itself. I don't know. I don't really, honestly, I really don't even know how many of you really want to know, but I started reading through comments. That's where you go wrong. Start reading through the old comments. And there's just a lot of people missing me. What happened to you, Black Sheep? Where you been? Come on, man. You just left us hanging. Son of a gun. So I guess in this video, we're going to make like a quick, 10, 15 minute. I definitely want to try to keep it at less than 12 minutes here. But I'm going to give you the story. What's been going on the last 3.5 years and I guess what brought me back to recording here. So let's get into all of it. I guess first off, just I thank you guys more than anything. I think you guys were the people that were keeping me afloat in the end mentally, just trying to get through it. And well, no terrible mental stuff, so I don't want to get you guys bent out of shape on that. Okay, let's get the backstory. Well, before the last video, you did see one video, the return video, where sporadically, I'm like, let's make a video, let's have some fun with it. I just kind of went with the flow. I just had fun playing the game for the first time in a very long time. I did that intentionally. I didn't get into any of this information, but I realized once I edited down the video that this is probably something you want to hear before you start watching more videos. September 15th, 2021. All right, so let's premise this in 2020 hits. Oh boy, this is bringing us back further than I really intended on. So let's just hop right into it. 2020 hits. I lose my job. I worked in a casino. I was a blackjack dealer, 21 dealer, table games dealer, predominantly blackjack though. And well, COVID slammed in. Of course, we lost our jobs right away. They furloughed us, so let's not get into that. They did treat us pretty well. They gave us our jobs for a solid month and whatnot, but obviously that wasn't going to be the long haul. Unemployment hit for a short period of time, and I kind of came into a brash realization that I got no job. I'm gonna have to do something here. I got to step back a couple steps, see what the hell is going on here. And I don't even really, I guess I don't even really remember how all of this started coming in. I've been an artist since I was really young. I always was a drawer. 3 years old, 3 years old, I was already drawing. 4 years old, I'm drawing monster trucks with people in the crowds. I was a quick learner with drawing. And so I knew art was always going to be something in the future that I would use as a hobby. On the other hand, I watched one of my best friends go through art school, pay for college to go through art school, and came out and does amazing work and makes next to nothing off of his art. I put that idea aside. Although there are jobs there, it's just not something I wanted to risk the future with. COVID hit. I sat at home. I had already been thinking about tattooing for a year or two. Long story short, I kind of already spoiled it. I got a tattoo machine and I started, and I'm not talking, I went on Amazon. I got it. No, I went and I did all my research. I think I studied about, I would say, a solid couple, maybe 2 or 3 days just on needles alone and the sizings of needles and the groupings of needles, the difference, just all of it, cartridges versus, let's not even get into all that stuff, but just the extreme dense amount of information you need to know to actually properly tattoo, which is why if you ever are asked to get a tattoo from your friend, don't do it. Don't do it. Not unless they've done everything properly. But yeah, not what this video is about. So I do all this research, like literally probably 2 or 3 months worth of research. I start setting up a room in the back of my house and thinking I'm going to tattoo my buddies. So I start setting it all up. I rip out all the carpet. I put down laminate flooring. I paint everything. I make everything nice, everything to where everything can be kept clean. All right, well, I'm this close. I should probably look into what are the legislations in this state for tattooing and just like having a tattoo room. Can you just have a room in the back here and do this? And no, you definitely cannot. You cannot. And it's like a $3,000 fine and or 90 days in jail for every tattoo you do, unlicensed. I'm like, okay, well, okay. I'm glad I just spent 6 grand on all this stuff and I get a bunch of fake skin. And I spent about 3.5 to 4.5 months on fake skin, just messing around with line work and little squares and doing different shading things, all this stuff. I don't want to get too far into this little aspect of my life, but it is very critical for the later part of the life. So I get into all this. I do that. Long story short, a buddy of mine goes to a local shop and he gets a tattoo and I don't know. This is a story. These stories, these apprenticeship stories are maybe, if you guys want to hear them in the future, maybe I'll disclose them, but for right now, we're not going to get into them, but they are some insane life stories. I'll just tell you that. Retracting back, my buddy goes into this tattoo shop, gets a tattoo. Her husband just went to prison or jail. Went to jail. and she was left alone, and she was kind of like seemed like she was struggling. So he's brought up to her that, oh, well, my buddy is tattooing fake skin, and his stuff looks really good, and shows her some of my drawings that I had posted online. And oh yeah, well, have him come talk to me. Well, I went in the next day and talked to her. I said, well, I walked in. Well, what can I help you with? I said, well, I heard you need some help, possibly. Okay, so let's skip some of these crazy apprenticeship things. But long story short, I ended up getting my license. All right, after just this shit show, not to use vulgar language, because I know kids are going to be watching this, but it was not fun. Okay, it was a terrible chunk of my life, about a year of my life. And this was started in very, very early 2022 and ended in very, very early 2023. I came out of all of it. I had had my license for a while. I was very quick to get my license in the state. I was, opening the shop, closing the shop, doing everything I could to make sure I got my hours in. In the state, you need X amount of hours, and all has to be monitored by your mentor. And there's just a whole long process of it. But got through it. Was very quick with it. Started just tattooing as much as I could at the shop, saving up money, and I knew I needed to get out of this situation. This was not a good situation that we were in. It was we gotta vacate. This isn't good. This is not a longevity thing here by any means. So I save up a bunch of money. I go around. I meet a bunch of really great artists. I mean, my girlfriend was tattooed by Kyle Dunbar from Ink Master. If anybody watches Ink Master out there, one of my favorite people on there too. So at the end of the day, with all of this, it came down to I now am leaving this shop. I cannot handle it anymore. It went to hell. Again, these stories can maybe come out in the future, but not right now. We got to get out. I'm looking at shops that are like an hour and 10-minute drive from me. That's just one direction, let alone, going in early and coming back late, like tattooing kind of demands in a lot of situations. It just didn't make sense, I guess, to me. And the girlfriend and I were also kind of looking at houses around the time, just very cheap houses, something that we could fix up, get into, and just kind of, make it our home. It's unfortunately was not the time to look for houses and buy houses, and it still isn't, but not what this video is about. I ended up coming across a building that had two commercial storefronts and two apartments. And again, don't want to get into a crazy amount of information with anything, but we ended up kind of lowballing this building and we bought it. We ended up getting it, and I opened up my own tattoo studio. So now I own my own tattoo studio. I opened it in December of 2013, so just right before the New Year's of 2024, and it's been a ride for sure. It's been very fun. So I guess I really hopped over all this stuff. I mean, we had to build a holdings company for the real estate. We had to do all of this stuff to set up two businesses. I say we, me and my girlfriend, and we also have a really good friend of mine. Well, you know Cole the Sloth if you're an OB, an original Black Sheep. He did the BMX videos when we were just like really messing around, lower quality videos, just trying to have fun. And that's kind of the stuff that I like watching the most. If I were to go back, I'm going to go watch all those videos again. Not what this video's about. Son of a gun. Getting off track really easy here. So yeah, I guess that really sums up what I'm getting into here. I went through a really tough couple years, put my mind to it, and but going back to those couple years, that was all part of the stepping stones to get me to where I'm now. I wouldn't have been able to go buy that building and then open a tattoo studio in my state without doing all of that stuff with the apprenticeship and making it all happen, going through what I had to go through. And yeah, I'm sure there's people out there listening to it that you guys have went through similar or even worse. And it's just like torment, really, and just insane stories. I don't know. I just don't want to really get into anything. Nothing that physically happened to me. Nothing like no fights or anything, but definitely got scissors pulled on me and threatened to be stabbed. And yeah, let's save it. Let's save it for another time. That's just one of very many stories. And okay, if you can't tell, I've been busy. It's not just I don't want to post videos. Really, honestly, if you want the truth, it hasn't been on my mind to play Grand Theft Auto. Every once in a while, I did log on and play a little bit. And like, I think the most recent thing I had played before just logging on recently is I did the Cluck and Bell heist one time just to run through it. It was something new that popped up. And of course, I just did it when I logged on the one day. I looked that up, and that was in about this time in 2024. But coincidentally enough, I guess that's where we're going to be making our money in this video. And at this point in time, when I'm recording this video, I've already recorded the second video, but I've only edited the first video. So just keep in mind audio stuff, setup, it's all slightly changing video to video. Again, guys, I really wouldn't be even beginning to think about recording right now if it wasn't for you guys out there. I started having this kind of idea maybe 2 months ago to just want to maybe log in and start a new character. I don't know why, but it was one of my more enjoyable things of doing, just like struggling from the bottom. Then I came across this video between a week and 2 weeks ago. Let's just leave it at that. The guy was just kind of complaining about how difficult it is for new players to make money in the game and how inflated all the money is and how it really deterred everybody from playing. I just remember last time I was playing, it was super easy to make money. You just run Cayo Perico. You got to get up to Cayo Perico, but that's the idea of this little series. And I don't think this video series is going to last very long that we're working on right now. This new character series, it ain't going to last very long. Not that we're going to immediately quit making videos, of course, but it's just, I don't want to spoil anything, but we're moving quick. I would say 4 to 5 videos. 5 videos should be more than plenty. I'll probably be stretching out the content at that time. Again, don't want to spoil anything, but making money in GTA Online is not a problem. You just have to be very conservative with your money in the very beginning. Just be tactical on what you're spending your money on. Don't go blow your money on clothes and cars and rims and all that stuff. Yeah, it's tempting. That's what everyone wants to do. But if you can save your money up and just get the few things you need, money becomes disposable. I guess that's the best term. And yeah, there is a time limit on cooldown. There is a time limit on how long these things take from setup to end. Definitely tactical way. And I'm kind of learning still. I'm doing, when I'm sitting around at work between sessions or just today I was deep cleaning. When I was sitting down, I was still looking up videos. How has Cayo Perico changed? Definitely some changes. It looks even easier now, though. That's the weird thing. You only have to eliminate 2 targets. I guess I'm really starting to ramble on. Typical black sheep way. You know me if you're, again, the OBs. I just appreciate you guys supporting the channel, doing what you're doing. If you guys don't want to watch the videos again, I won't. I'm just doing this for fun at the end of the day. It's all I started on was just for fun. So, no hard feelings at stake there. I appreciate everyone tuning in, liking, comment, and subscribing. As always, guys, hope you all stay happy out there. Stay positive. We will definitely speak to you next time.